Come in and join us. I wish we were all together because we'd say, come on in, grab a seat. Oh, I'm so excited. Today, first of all, welcome everyone. My name is Jan Barlow and I am the host of the HR Disruptor Summit. We are launching our 8-week event. Some of you have been with us for the past year. We had our inaugural event last October, and then we built it bigger and had a 12-week event that was attached to a 3-day event that when we launched with Titan Management to preview the ATS. And then now we are having our 8-week nice and easy live streams every week to celebrate reimagine work. So welcome, Catherine McCord. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so very much for having me today, Jan. I've really been looking forward to this and working with you again.
You know, what I love about when we all came together to create the HR Disruptor Summit, it was to fill that gap, right?
Yeah.
Not only, the new work world, but to come together to really reimagine work and all that entails.
Yeah.
So when we tag teamed and you shared about the Titan ATS and its D&I anti-bias software, I was like, okay, we have got to talk about this. So, it started, first of all, the fast and furious, the connection on LinkedIn. I love your authenticity, just talking about neurodiversity and what we shared, behavior diversity, and just our own individual story about how work is broken, school, how we, students and college is broken, and then the work school piece is broken. So to come together, and especially our love of entrepreneurship, right? And your background of helping entrepreneurs start their business, that's another commonality. If you could share a little bit about your journey and how you started Titan ATS.
Well, I've been recruiting, doing Titan management for the last 7 years, a little over about 7.5 years now. And I love every minute of it, but there's always been this problem with the applicant tracking system and with application processes in general, not being friendly to different diversity groups, whether it be neurodiversity. And for anybody, by the way, that doesn't know what neurodiversity is, that's okay. It's kind of a new term, but it's an old concept. And what it means is just basically that your brain processes information differently. So that can be ADHD, it can be autism, it can be bipolar disorder, it can be all kinds of different things. So there are a lot of, and that's, by the way, about 50% of the population. So not catering to about 50% of the population makes zero sense, right? When you're trying to get applicants and candidates in. So there have just been all these problems. The resume just doesn't make sense. It creates biases. It's not a great way to relay talent and skills. So it's just kind of always been in my mind that this is an issue. And then about a year ago, actually, I was driving to the airport at 4:30 in the morning, and I went, ding, I know how to fix it. I know it should be done. So I reached out to a brilliant developer, Ivan Bliskopka, and he has helped actually build out the technology that I designed. And then I partnered with Mervyn Kennedy McFoy, who lives in London and is a neurodiverse African Euro male, I guess is how you would say it. I've never used that term before. I'm gonna have to ask him if that's right. But he is a fascinating, brilliant person. And we just kind of came together to create what we decided was the future of hiring and the way that it ought to be done, to give people, to mask all the things that could potentially create bias and just to present them as who they actually are, what they actually bring to the table, and to just leave the focus there, and then also add a DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, accountability, and showcase feature to show off what an organization really has going on, and so that people can know if it's the right fit for them or not.
I love that. And, that aligns so much and so well with the HR Disruptor Summit, because it's everyone and all the topics and all the speakers and the businesses and products and services that come to the summit is all about being different, right? How do we do things differently that's better, right? That, getting better and better every day. So,
people have misconceptions too, right? You and I have talked about this a million times.
We're human beings. It is
right.
what it is.
It happens, and that's okay. But we're here to fix that. And one of the things that happens with diversity is that people think it means one specific thing, or that you need tokenism. Oh, we want you to fire all the white people and bring in all these other groups. No, that's not it. And diversity means more than your outward appearance. It refers to your educational background, your socioeconomic, your military background or not. Do you have a criminal record? Are you second chance hiring or not? It's diversity means all kinds of different things. And bringing that to the forefront is tragically new, but very, very important. And it's been really exciting to partner with you because you definitely share that enthusiasm.
Well, we are on the leading edge, my friend, and coming together is what it's all about. So when we look at the history of ATS, right?
Oof.
And if you could share a little bit, and I'll let you take the floor from here, my friend.
So the ATS came out in the 90s. And no, actually, it's really funny. You can't find an exact year that they came out, but it's estimated between 96 and 98 that the first ATS came into being. It was in response to the big job boards like Monster. And people are going, oh my gosh, we're getting all these candidates. We need to organize them. We need to do something. So they came up with a technology. Tragically, this technology has not advanced a whole lot. Now, when I say that, let me be very clear. There have been new apps that can be added on. They've added the ability to email through there. So there have been some advances. But when I talk about it not changing, I mean the basic design and the way that it's run. It has not really evolved in that way. So yes, there are new capabilities, but the overall design has stayed the same since the 90s, which is nuts.
I was going to say, I did a post, when I was announcing your event, I did a post and said, would you use a 14-year-old cell phone?
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, really, would you?
Yeah. And that's what I liken it to is look how different cars are. Look how different phones are. I mean, when my very first cell phone, and it wasn't even from the 90s, it was from like 2004 or 2005. And it was this little rectangle thing that was like, you could maybe text from, and it just had all these different problems and all that, and very antiquated, looked more like a Tamagotchi than what we know now as a cell phone. And now it's a whole little computer more powerful than most PCs in the palm of your hand. And that's amazing. And so if we can do that, there's no reason that we can't do better for candidates out there. And job seekers have my sympathy right now because I just have been going through and kind of seeing what's going on and looking at different processes. And it is crazy.
What did you say that last time, Catherine, that it took somebody an hour and a half to go through the application process? 90 minutes. I mean, we won't even wait that long at a restaurant, let alone for a job application.
This was for a stalker job at Walmart. Or maybe not, maybe that one wasn't Walmart, but it was something, it was one of those mega stores. But it was a mega store and it was a stalker position. Hour and a half. Well, I just can't even fathom why you think that's it. It actually makes my brain stop.
And just wonder why they didn't get probably a lot of people applying. Well, their computer timed out. They got kicked off the internet. They got bored. They had to go to bed. I don't know.
They had to eat. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a bajillion. I don't know. Decided that their time is more valuable than that.
Oh my God.
And even the short ones, I've noticed a lot of them, they don't parse information correctly from the resume. So that's taking, for anybody that doesn't know, that's taking the information out of the resume and putting it into the applicant tracking system. A lot of them don't do it correctly. So you then have to spend time fixing it. People are requiring all these bizarre questions be answered. I've had some very unusual questions pop up when I started looking at ATS.
Really?
One asked, what kind of flower would I be?
Okay, first of all, if I see another one of those assessments that ask you what color you are, how the Sam heck does that have anything to do with the job matching? Okay, please. I mean, please, you're killing me here, people.
Now, there are some good ATSs out there, and I'm going to actually throw this right on out there. So for the last couple of years, I'm obviously now switching over to my own, but for the last couple of years, I've been using Jazz HR, and as a current ATS goes, they are great. I'm going to just throw that on out there. And there are others like them that move pretty efficiently. They're pretty user friendly, all of that, but it still has the same problem of the bias and of not being friendly to neurodiverse and different types of groups like that. And it also still focuses on the resume, which when approximately 90% of people can't effectively make a resume,
or
and you
that's
can look
incorrect.
there are multiple studies. Even Harvard Business Review did a study about this. I mean, it's a problem. Resumes just don't work. They just really, I know why we started there. I get it, but it's time to advance and to keep going. So we wanted to focus on skill matching and give candidates a little bit of creativity without giving away any information that would cause problems for them in the hire process, including dates of employment, because that doesn't only give away your age, as you and I have talked about, that gives away employment gaps. So if you're a mother who had a child, if you took off time to take care of a family member, anything like that, companies will deem you useless, which is baffling.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I use that word. I'm like, that's dumb. I just
stupid.
I just can't with that. It's just ridiculous. But people do get things in their minds, even down to the fonts on resumes. I've seen resumes rejected for font, and we're not talking about for like a graphic design position or something like that, but just a regular position. In fact, the last one I saw that was a nursing job, and I was going,
oh, you got to be kidding me. It was a nursing job?
Yeah. What does that have to do with anything? And you know, formats. And then a lot of people don't realize too that a lot of applicant tracking systems, and this is not the user's fault because most of them do not realize that this happens. Applicant tracking systems, the older ones for the most part, will reject a resume that it cannot read. It'll just poof. So then they never get it, and then you never have a chance. So if you have an image on there that it didn't understand, or if you just had a organizational issue on there that it couldn't read for whatever reason,
or there's a glitch in their machine.
Yes, if you used Excel, which by the way, never do that. That's very odd, but don't use Excel to create a resume. But people who have and then convert it to a PDF, a lot of them cannot read that, even the newer ones. So they just, you either get a blank thing or you get nothing at all, a blank screen or nothing. So ATSs have a lot of issues that need to improve the hire process and to make things easier, not just for the candidates, but for the hiring company. You want to get the right people in. You want to increase your profits. You want to get the creative talent. You want to get the people that actually match your job, not the people that are just sending resumes out to everywhere, right? So there's that aspect too. Because
and also, I just want to make sure, I want to ask, and I apologize for not announcing this in the beginning. We're going to have about 3 to 5 minutes for Q&A at the end. Yes. Or do you want people to interact on chat?
Oh, they can interact. They can ask
just want to make sure that we invite everybody, and thank you. So go ahead and
if you have a question, if you want to say anything at all, chime on in. And we will be doing the demo here in a little bit as well, so that you can actually see the product and get an idea for it. But we just want to make sure you guys know why this matters. So when you do true diversity hiring, which is what I preach and what this is all about, that when Mervyn and Ivan and I came together, is true diversity hiring is hiring for a variety of backgrounds and experience and skill levels and personality types, because when you do that, then you expand your customer base and you understand your existing customer base better. And according to Boston Consulting Group, that results in an average of 19% higher revenue. And there are other studies to go along with it that back that up, and all of the numbers are around that range. So you'll see anything from about 17% up to about 24% that the studies find. So somewhere in that range, it will really increase your profit. It increases innovation and increases creativity. It matters. You don't want 20 of the same thing, and a lot of times that's what accidentally happens when you use resumes in kind of a standard format, because you get trained. And so does your system, by the way. Your system learns what you like to hire, and so then it only shows, it kind of highlights what you want to hire.
Really? So it'll create its own nomogram.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like in behavior diversity, you can have external diversity of your human beings all day long, but if you did a scattergram behaviorally of people, you'd see them all clustered in the same area. So it's the same thing as the ATS. It starts to create a nomogram of what you have programmed in there.
Right. What you teach it on the smarter ones. Now the old dumb ones don't do that, but the newer smarter ones,
it's thinking ahead.
Yes,
it's literally,
they do. And so they'll predict it. They'll predict, and then it kind of skews your view. So
that's not a benefit.
They were trying to help. They were trying to help when they put that in there. They were, and I understand what the thinking was, but it unfortunately just doesn't work when it comes to hiring. Hiring is unique. You can't use technology for everything. There has to be human touch, because right now AI cannot do what a human being can do in terms of reading personality and things like that. It's just not possible. And these personality tests, the best ones I've seen, the absolute best ones I have seen, which there are a few, Jeff Yates, I believe is his last name. You introduced me to him. He has a very interesting spin on a personality test. It more just kind of tells you how you think and how you work. That was really a genius product, but even that is not going to tell you.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a job. It's a great side tool, but it's not a job matching tool. That's what's interesting. It's not a job matching tool.
I think it's better for individuals to know that about themselves.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. Not a job matching tool. Yeah.
No, it's not. So anytime that you see these ATSs, I want to out there that are telling you, hey, we have this technology that will tell you if a candidate matches your job, please steer away from that if it's an AI thing. Now, because there are a couple others that do this piece like we do, that will give you a chance to say, hey, match yourself to this. And then there's still that human element.
Exactly.
That's good. And we're not the only ones doing that piece of it. So that's a very good thing to have. So one of the things that we do is we allow for hiring teams to input the skills and criteria that matter the most to them, and then give the candidate a chance to say, I'm an expert, novice, whatever level, and kind of match themselves up to it. We leave the job description visible while they're filling out the profile, so that way they can make sure and align a little bit better. And it's still quick, because you have to have that. People don't want to spend, 5 hours.
An hour, 90 minutes. Yeah, 90 minutes. Well, we can't wait to see this. Gosh, this is going to be exciting. And Dr. Watts, we had an input from Dr. Watts. This was wonderful. Hi, it also fosters healthy culture. Absolutely.
Yes, it does. And that is something Dr. Robert Watts knows a lot about. He and I have had some fantastic conversations on that. It creates a much happier and more long-standing culture. It will help your company to grow appropriately. Now, I know the word culture is kind of frowned upon right now. So when I say that, I just mean the environments of the company and the people within, and the ethics and integrity of that company, which are everything. And when 69% of the population is saying that diversity matters to them, and that the ethics of a company matter to them in their job search, you better be on point.
and you know what? And that's I got to tell you, we might need to talk. That's going to be a future HR disruptor. Because we're seeing a lot of people, not only clients of mine, but friends and experienced rich people that are looking at positions, and they are so critical.
Yes.
Critical, not in a bad way. That's probably not the word, but they are really mindful in their discovery process when they are clearly looking at the company first, researching people on LinkedIn, getting a sense of the people, what they post, and then they're looking to see if that's this is such a mindful time that employers, people, if you're thinking that this is, that you're in the driver's seat and you can just take anybody and people are going to be, bowing down to you and this is dominion, you better wake up. Okay. Because that ain't happening. All right. That ship has sailed back in 2008.
A long time ago. Okay. And one of the things that we wanted to do on that note is to make it easier for companies to showcase. So we have put in, and this will be shown in the demo, we've put in candidate feedback surveys where people can click and see the results that pop up, and the company can customize this. They can tell us these are the questions we want asked on these, and we'll kind of guide them, and help them figure it out. And the same thing with the employees. So both candidates and employees can have feedback that people can see right there. They don't have to go searching. It's all present right there. And then the other thing that it will show off is, like I said, the diversity of both the executive team and the rest of the team, because knowing what the executive team makeup will let you know if there's true equity and inclusion in the company, or if it's just, oh yeah, we hire, but we keep everybody else down here, and it creates the big gaps and the wage gaps and all of that. That's a problem.
That's
So
it.
So we have all of that right there. Now, the diversity aspect, we do not leave up to the customer. That is locked in. These are the 10 criteria, the 10 groups, and people, it's an anonymous survey. Nobody will ever know who filled it out or what goes on. It just updates the public, just, I'm blanking out on my word, the public feature, the showcase feature on the ATS. It just kind of opens it up and shows there. So nobody will ever know who answered what. It's very, very private, but it's also still a great way to track, but to keep it anonymous, because a lot of people right now, and a lot of hiring teams don't know this, but a good percentage of the population, depending on which study you read, the ones I subscribe to most say at around 45%, don't want to fill out the EEOC information because they feel like it will cause them to be discriminated against. Even Caucasian people. This is not
no, that's what I'm saying. I agree, because I know back in 2013 when I was looking at for clients, when they were looking at job postings, I told them that I would be concerned about filling that out as well.
100%, because they can tell you all day long that they don't discriminate, but are they really? So this, and the only time that this would not work is, let's say you're a government contractor, because they do require certain,
check off that box.
Yes, yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But
oh my gosh, we got to jump in. Can we jump in? Because it's already 2:22. So I hope everybody will stay with us. We're probably going to run over a little bit, but please stay with us. So go ahead. Which one do you want to go with? You want to go with the demo?
Let's just dive right into the demo, because we kind of covered all the pitch deck stuff anyway. So let's just dive right on into the demo and see. So I'm going to be talking over this because we did not put sound with it purposefully. We'll give Misty a little bit of time. And thank you, Misty, who's in the background running all this.
Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you so much for our support team. She doesn't like to be mentioned or anything, but I'm going to just blare her name out to the world.
Oh, amazing. But as soon as she gets that up and running, the demo is, we're just going to kind of run through everything. We'll be able to pause. There we go. Okay, so what you're seeing right here is the job screen. So this is as soon as you log in, and you'll see you can sort it by job title. You can sort it by number, any of these fields right here, you can sort actually. So whether it's number of applicants, whether it's date posted, any of that, you can sort, you can search. There's a little search bar up there. All of this part is kind of standard. This part is pretty basic. Also, you can go in here and you'll have the link to the job. So when you have somebody go, hey, can you send me the link to apply to that? It's right there. You don't have to go to your website and go find the job and all that kind of stuff. Here's the link right here where you can copy and paste and send that directly to someone. Or also to let yourself see what your posting looks like, just to make sure it's not jacked up looking.
Okay, let me just add, somebody was asking for clarification on the screen, said it was that they were having issues, that it was out of focus. What we'll do is we will have this posted. We'll have it, set out for a set amount of time that you can have access to it.
Yes.
So don't worry, you'll have access to that. Yes. Okay.
If you can't see if you can't read things, yes, and you can also contact me and I will send you the direct link.
And we're going to have Catherine's contact information, especially if you want to get a demo of it, to schedule a demo. She's going to put her Calendly link in there, right? So it'll be it'll be connected to our HR Disruptor Summit. Yes. So you'll be able to book an appointment with her for a one-on-one demo. So
I apologize if the StreamYard is making it a little bit blurry, but I don't know if it's too much. We can. So the next, let's see, Misty, you can start it back up again. There we go. It's doing something. There we go. Okay, so this is just showing where you can create a job. It's just going to kind of show you. This part again is pretty basic. It's just you put in your job description, You can put any tags you want on it, kind of keyword kind of things. This is also where you would input. There's a little field right there that you can put in the skills that you want to specify as well. So if you want somebody to say have Java as a skill, you can put that there and then it will populate. You'll see on the profile in a minute where it'll populate and the candidate can say what level of experience they have. So this is just where you enter in the job description. Very, very basic, straightforward. So I think it's going to come back to this and then go to a job. Yeah, here we go. We're about to see kind of the more exciting parts of this pretty quick here and the big differentiators. So this is where it's going to start to look a little bit different. So this part's just going to show you what the candidate would see. So this is what the candidate sees when they're pulling up. Here's a job description. And right off the bat, you can see the big button that talks about the diversity feature. I'll let it pop up here. There we go. And the first things that you're going to see on here are the different links that we talked about. So you'll have the candidate experience link, the employee experience link, and then the to diversity. And by the way, this one, I just had random people fill it out just for the, this is not my actual company's makeup. I just had random people kind of fill it out. So you can see here the makeup in the different groups. This takes you through 10 different diversity groups: race, neuro, socio, criminal background, military, age, and multiple others, LGBTQIA+, and a few others as well. And it will show you how much of the company is part of that group and how much are not. So you can go through and see how a company is actually doing with their diversity. The executive summary, the executive function, by the way, looks exactly like this. So if you want to see what the executive team makeup is, it's exactly like this. It would not look any different at all. So that's just kind of taking you through the 10 groups, showing you how they're doing. So this company would obviously very much need to work on their diversity because they had a lot of that orange. And then if you scroll, when it scrolls down, you'll see that, I don't know if it did in this or not, but if you scroll down, the company can put in their diversity goals and show progress on how they're doing. So it didn't show that, I'm sorry, it was supposed to. There is a feature below that where a company inputs their diversity goals. Can you pause it real quick, Misty, please? The diversity goals will be below, are actually below those links. So a company can fill in, hey, this is, we want to accomplish this by this time. And it shows progress bars of how far they're going along that. So it's really helpful to just kind of see where our company's at and how they're growing and how they're developing. So now we're on to the candidate profile. And the first thing that you're going to see here in the top left is where they input the candidate headline. This is going to be similar to a LinkedIn headline. And you may not be able to see it because I know you said it's a little fuzzy, but there are instructions to tell them how to fill it out. That's what the hiring team will see instead of the name, which we're going to show you here in just a little bit. So they just go through, they fill out all these different little sections. It has the job experience, but no dates. It asks average tenure. So it's going, and Misty, can you pause it again, please? Not before, we were kind of staying together better. Okay, so the average tenure is where you're going to see, which is just above the skill section. You're going to be able to, and the people are going to be able to input the dates and everything and say, this is how my average length of time at a job. So you can still tell how reliable they are, but without seeing the actual dates of employment. Then right here in the skill matching section, these are the skills that the hiring team has pre-selected as these are important. And then you can go through, and the candidates can go through and rank themselves. They can put in additional skills and rank themselves. And then they can also just copy and paste skills at the bottom as well, which it will show here in just a minute. So it's just kind of going through, filling out different things.
Dr. Watts had a nice, he says, nice transparency.
Thank you. Great. And then right there, right above the contact information, they can put in a little creative, why me? Why am I special? It's supposed to be 1 to 2 sentences, very brief, not a whole cover letter, because we all know we don't actually read them, right? So, I mean, maybe 1% of hiring teams read cover letters. And then they put in their contact information, but nobody will see that until the candidate gives permission. So now we're going to go over to the applicants. This is now, so the person fills out their little form, they submit it. This is what the hiring team gets. And I want you to pause it, please, Misty, real quick. So at the top right, you'll see a red lock. That means that the profile is still locked. Nobody can see this candidate's personal information or any of their specific details. You can, over to the left, you will notice that there is the job description still, so you can kind of compare them to it, keep everything very organized, so you're not having to flip screens back and forth. And then you'll see the candidate profile. Right, the first thing on the left is you see that unique identifier that the candidate came up with to kind of sell themselves and let you know who they are and what they could do without giving away their name. So that's right there on the left. And then you can go ahead and play it, please, Misty. And that just shows you the different dispositions. And by the way, if you move someone to not hired, they do get a very polite, lovely rejection email that you yourself can compose. It's automatically sent to let them know, just to save you some time. And it offers additional feedback, but you can customize that. And here it's just going to show you the different things that they've done. It's going to show you any volunteer experience, their average tenure, their skill matching, all of these lovely things. And then you'll notice that there's still no contact information, but that you can message them. Can you pause it again real quick, Misty, please? This will probably be our last pause. So this feature is unique in that it creates a basic relationship between the hiring team and the candidate. They can ask a few questions, invite them to move forward. When they do invite the candidate to move forward, what happens is the candidate gets an email. They are asked to move forward, and they are notified that at that time, the hiring team will be able to see their contact information and name. And if they provided a full resume, which we don't encourage, so that will be a very rare case. So they click accept, and then we move on. You can go ahead and hit play, Misty. Thank you. And so at that point, this is what the profile looks like locked, and we're about to see what a profile looks like when it unlocks. It's a completely different view at that point. So there's the locked one, no personal information, anything like that. And you can see the little green lock. The yellow means that they've been asked to accept. The green means that they have accepted. And then there's their name. I mean, obviously this one's fake, but the name, email, and phone number. So now they can be advanced through the interview process, but still none of that other resume mumbo jumbo.
But what I like about this is that it gives the candidate the choice, right? That's what's nice about it. Right. Plus, you know where they are in this process. You see what I'm saying? Most of the time you just go and
it keeps the communication active, which is a huge thing that right now that candidates are complaining about, that they're not involved in it more, that they don't know what's going on. So this gives a lot more interaction, a lot more chance to kind of get to know each other and keep it all personal. This is just showcasing the kind of back end ATS features. These are going to be a lot more standard. This is where you have your dashboard, your reporting. In just a minute, it's going to show you the calendar integration, where you can integrate with your daily calendar, keep everything very organized that way. All the different reports that can run. Now,
let me ask Catherine. Dr. Watts had a question. Any capacity to capture candidate comments and feedback?
Oh, absolutely. That's actually a feature that was on the diversity. It's on the same screen as the diversity feedback. I think because it's blurry, y'all couldn't read that. But there is a link underneath the diversity surveys, and one is for candidates and one is for employees. And so that that candidate one, you can completely customize that to have any questions that you want. And so you will have that feedback. You can even have open-ended feedback on that as well. Nice. And you can also, on those two, on the employee and candidate, you can choose to make those public or private. Same thing with the diversity feature. You can choose to make that public or private. Of course, we encourage you to make it public, but you can always gather information that way and send out those surveys to either all the candidates, some of the candidates, however you want to do that. But the whole purpose of this is that we want better communication and more transparency between companies and potential candidates, because that's what it's all about. And that's where we're having the biggest breakdown in the hiring process right now, according to both sides. That's where we're broken down. And if you just real quick note, if you look here on even in the back end, so this is like what even the system admins would see and all that, you'll still see that the profiles that are locked, you cannot see any actual information. It has a fake phone number and a fake email. And then once they're unlocked, then you can see the full information. They can provide social media, if you want to see that at that time, this is the appropriate time to collect that kind of information. This is the appropriate time if you have an EEOC, um, what do you call it? The target. There you go, because you're a government contractor. This is where you collect that. So it still can provide that type of information for you.
Nice.
And then everyone can get the diversity surveys as well. So we absolutely want full disclosure. We want full transparency. We want lots more communication, because that's how effective hiring happens. But you'll also notice that everything is quick, right? And you can put in formats and things like that. And we're continually working to make that more robust so that it's quick and you can just send out quick messages, things like that. It's very, very streamlined. So even when you request that a candidate come join you and that you want to interview with them and you want to be able to see their phone number and all of that, all you do is click that little lock button and it invites them. It's not a big email you have to type out or anything like that. Everything is streamlined and efficient, but it still creates a more human touch. It also, by the way, it does not allow duplicates. So one of the main complaints I hear all the time from HR people is, I have 10 applications from the same person for the same job. This is so irritating. Our system actually blocks that from happening. You will never get a duplicate submission to the same job.
I mean, don't you think that would have been something that somebody would have, somebody in the back end of the software department would have, I don't know. I mean, really? I mean, that just sounds something.
There are one or two that you can set to do that, but they're the only two I can think of that have either that exact feature or something very similar or very expensive. All the others, they have a merge where you can go through and merge them, but it's just time consuming and irritating. So it was really important to us to have that efficiency.
Yeah. How long does it take? Did you do a time study of how long it takes to apply for a job?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So if you are copy pasting the information in, just slow it into our application, it takes about 90 seconds to 2.5 minutes, depending on, how long it takes you to figure out
your paste.
Right. So 90 seconds to 2.5 minutes. And if you type everything out, if you are just manually typing it out, because let's say you don't have a resume or anything like that, 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So very concise.
It's interesting. It's almost like companies should advertise that. I mean, it will get to the point when companies get it and say, hey, we have a fast application process. Yes, we have an ATS, but guess what? 10 minutes. Look think about it this way. Remember doctors, remember hospitals, remember it was such a long time to go to an ER.
Yeah.
Right. Remember, it was like, oh my God, you're going to be there for 4 hours, pack a lunch. Now they advertise.
Right. I've experienced
15 minutes in and out. Okay. I can see companies doing that for the application process.
Absolutely.
Why not?
100%. And it is already starting to happen. Companies that have quick apply or easy apply. And by the way, we're trying to work with LinkedIn to have it so that you can apply with your LinkedIn profile and it fills it out. LinkedIn is not customer friendly. And so it takes a very long time to set these things up.
Isn't that
it's
crazy?
Just back to life. But that is coming so that people will be able to auto-populate with their LinkedIn profile as well.
I love it. I love it. Catherine, what if you can go into chat and put in your either Calendly or whatever, we will post the link to this recording. We'll post it on LinkedIn so people can access it. So if you would be so kind to post in your contact information so people can directly book a demo or to speak to you directly, that would be great.
That is what I'm doing right now.
Oh, well, of course you are.
And I also put in the website because you can see more information on it there. And you can also schedule a demo directly through the site as well. And that does go directly to me. So just to kind of circle back real quick and just to kind of surmise. So what sets us apart is we don't use resumes. We have skill matching and everything is completely masked until the candidate feels comfortable, and then they unlock and then they can see everything. The diversity, equity, and inclusion aspect will showcase the 10 different types of diversity, the 10 standard that we found. And by the way, if anybody has any ideas for more, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to update that list, but we have the 10 on there. So it will be making sure that the company is addressing all different types of diversity, giving the company that feedback too, to let them know where they're falling short. And then it also does have the candidate and the employee feedback all visible to applicants and all visible internally as well, so that everyone can learn and grow from it.
I love it. My friend, thank you so much for being here and launching our fall 2021 HR Disruptor Summit. Just thank you so much. You opened up our June 2021 summit as well, so we are grateful. And so again, that information for Titan ATS is on the chat. We will also be posting the link to the recording as well. So thank you again, Catherine, and thank you everyone who has attended, and it's so great to see you all again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.